Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Thursday, September 8th, 2022. Today I'm going to go over yesterday's Major League Baseball games like I had to today's games. We'll go over yesterday's lone Major League Soccer result. We'll go over today's lone WNBA semifinals Game 5. We will preview and pick tonight's NFL season opener between the Bills and the Rams. I'll go over my results for the U.S. Open. Look ahead to today's matches, NFL power rankings I have for you guys today to start the year, news and notes, and best bet. We'll start with Major League Baseball. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to today's games. Mets over the Pirates 5-1, doubleheader Game 1. Mets 86-51, Pittsburgh 50-85. Yankees over the Twins 5-4 in 12 innings, doubleheader Game 1 on a walk-off single by Oswaldo Cabrera. Yanks are 82-54, Minnesota 68-66. Rockies over Brewers 8-4, the Rockies are 59-79, Milwaukee 71-65. Braves over the Athletics 7-3, the Braves are 86-51, Oakland is 50-87. Tigers over the Angels 5-4, Tigers 52-85, LA 60-77. White Sox over the Mariners 9-6, the White Sox are 69-68, Seattle 77-60. Dodgers over the Giants 7-3, the Dodgers are 94-42, San Francisco is 65-70. Mets over the Pirates 10-0, doubleheader Game 2, the Mets are 87-51, Pittsburgh is 50-86. Rays over the Red Sox 1-0, Rays 77-58, Boston 67-71. Phillies over the Marlins 4-3. The Phillies are 75-61. Miami's 55-80. Blue Jays over the Orioles 4-1. The Blue Jays are 76-60. Baltimore is 72-65. So the Blue Jays really put the Orioles away here. Reds over the Cubs 7-1. The Reds are 54-80. The Cubs are 57-79. Cards over the Nationals 6-5. As they have a 5-run rally in the bottom of the ninth, and they win it on a walk-off double by Tommy Edman. St. Louis 81-56. Washington is 48-89. Yankees over the Twins 7-1 doubleheader Game 2. Yankees are 83-54. Minnesota 68-67. Royals over the Guardians 2-1. The Royals are 56-82. Cleveland 76-5. Casey wins this on a walk-off sac fly by Salvi Perez. I think they had that as best bet and it lost. So best bet 0-for on the week. Astros over the Rangers 4-3-10 on a walk-off wild pitch as Jose Altuve scores a game-winning run. Houston's 88-49. Texas is 59-77. And the Padres over the Diamondbacks 6-3. The Padres are 76-62. Arizona is 65-71. Now we look ahead to today's very small window. We have 7 games, including a doubleheader. 1 o'clock, you have the Nats at the Cardinals. Josiah Gray and Adam Wainwright. The Cards are probably like minus 250 or something like that. They're minus 290. The Nats are plus 235 over from their 7.5. Over is minus 115. Under is minus 106. Nats plus 1.5 is plus 112. Cardinals minus 1.5 is minus 134. I'm going with the under. Adam Wainwright still really got it. 220 Reds Cubs, Luis Cessa and Adrian Sampson. The Cubs are minus 142. The Reds are plus 120. Over under 8. Over is minus 108. Under is minus 112. Reds plus 1.5 is minus 172. Cubs minus 1.5 is plus 142. I like the over. Doubleheader Game 1, 4 o'clock. Giants Brewers, Scott Alexander and Corbin Burns. Brewers minus 210, Giants plus 176, over under 7, over is minus 128, under is plus 104. Giants plus 1.5 is minus 142, Brewers minus 1.5 is plus 118. Go with the under for this game, why not? 6:45, Marlins Phillies, Sandy Alcantara and Kyle Gibson. Phils minus 130, Marlins plus 110, over under 7, over is minus 115, under is minus 105. Marlins plus 1.5 is minus 205, Phillies minus 1.5 is plus 168. Another under for me. It's because of Alcantara. 7 o'clock, you have the Twins at the Yankees. Yankees going for the sweep. Sonny Gray against Nestor Cortez coming off the injury list. So that is really good news for the Yankees. Yanks minus 142. Twins plus 120. Over under 7. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Twins plus 1.5 is minus 192. Yankees minus 1.5 is plus 158. I think Sonny Gray will join the rest of the former Yankees that are in this series, and Gary Sanchez and Gio Urshela to perform well. I like the under in this game, and Cortez coming off the injury I think will pitch well. 7:30 Giants Brewers. We know is going for San Fran, and Freddie Peralta is going for Milwaukee. And no information about that game yet. And then 9:30 you have the White Sox at the A's, Dylan Cease and J.P. Sears. White Sox minus 188, Oakland plus 158, over under 7, overs minus 106, unders minus 114. White Sox minus 1.5 is minus 106. A's plus 1.5 is minus 113. I like the A's run line plus 1.5 and minus 113. I love J.P. Sears. I think he'll continue to pitch well. All right, now move on to Major League Soccer. We had one game yesterday. We'll go over the result as the team that came out victorious was neither. 1-1 draw between NYCFC and Cincinnati. Cincinnati got on the board first. Thiago Martins and an own goal in the 22nd minute. 1-0 Cincinnati. Then Gabriel Pereira in the 41st minute for NYCFC ties it. And then Thiago Martins in the 75th minute got a red card. So the goal, the own goal, the same guy gets red carded. So NYCFC and Cincy end up in a draw. Looking at the table right now, NYCFC now 1 point back of the Red Bulls. Cincy gets 1 point ahead of New England for the last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. I don't think anybody's catching Philly for that 1 seed. Montreal, the 2 seed, may be gettable. We'll see about that. So, going to be interesting down the stretch. We have one game tomorrow and then the whole weekend, so we'll get into more of the soccer on the podcast tomorrow. All right, we had a WNBA semifinals game to discuss. Game 5 tonight between the Sun and the Sky from Chicago. I think the Sky should be favored by 4.5. That's what I would project this line to be. And the line is 4.5 as I project. Total is 158.5. I like the over a lot. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. I think that the stars on both sides are going to show up. I think Chicago will win. I would throw the Sky in any money line parlay with a tennis player that you feel really confident is going to win. So I'm going to take the over 158.5 for the pick for the podcast, and I think the Sky will win to return to the WNBA Finals to take on the heavily favored Las Vegas Aces. All right, now I'll move on to what everybody is waiting for. NFL Week 1, Thursday Night Football. You have the Bills at the Rams. It is going to be a really fun game. I think that we have arguably the best roster in the league against the team that I think there's some disrespect going around a little bit. So, Super Bowl champs against everybody's darling, the Super Bowl favorite. So, we have that. Injuries in this game, Trey White for Buffalo, Van Jefferson, Rams. My projection for this game is the Rams by 3.5, total 48 in the 5th. And Buffalo is actually favored in this game by 2.5, totals 51.5. I absolutely love the Rams in this game. I don't understand how the reigning Super Bowl champions are getting points at home. I get it. The Bills have the better quarterback in Josh Allen. The better coach and the better team is Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams. It is so disrespectful that the Bills are getting this many points. I love the Rams more than anything in this spot. I usually don't do this, but I'm making the Rams plus 2.5 a Fab 5 pick. I never picked the Thursday night game. That was pretty much my rule for Fab 5, and I'll probably have that continue throughout the season. But it's the first game of the season, so I'm making this my Fab 5 pick. So I'm taking the Rams, laying a unit on it, plus the 2.5 against the Bills. I love this bet so much. And on top of that, I'm taking them to win outright at plus 114 as well. All right, now I'll move on to the U.S. Open. We had some extraordinary matchups yesterday that we have to go over, and we have some big ones to discuss today. We'll start with the men's. 22 seed Francis Tiafoe over 19 Andre Rublev in 3 sets. And the classic of all classics, 3 seed Carlos Alcaraz over 11 seed Jannik Sinner in 5 sets. That match went on for over 5 hours, which was incredible. And then the women's side, 1 seed Iga Swiatek over 8 seed Jessica Pegula in 2 sets, and 6 seed Aryna Sabalenka over 22 seed Karolina Pliskova in 2 sets. We have the women's semifinals today at 7 o'clock from Arthur Ashe Stadium. 17 seed Caroline Garcia and 5 seed Ons Jabeur. It's going to be a really, really fun matchup. I think that these two women are very talented in what they do. Garcia's favored, though, minus 152. Jabeur's plus 126. Everyone loves Caroline Garcia. I think she's amazing. I think Ons Jabeur's on a great run as well. I'm going to go Caroline Garcia 2-1 at plus 270, but I do not feel good about it. And then 8:15 tonight, you have 1 seed Iga Swiatek and 6 seed Aryna Sabalenka. Swiatek's minus 215, and Sabalenka's plus 176. For the set betting, I'm going to go Swiatek 2-1 at plus 270. I think this is her tournament to lose. I think we're going to have her versus Caroline Garcia in the final on Saturday night, which would be a lot of fun. We'll preview and pick the men's semifinals on tomorrow's show, and then obviously pick the finals on each side of the spectrum as well. All right, now I'm going to move on to my first rendition of my 2022 NFL Power Rankings for the regular season. I'm going to go from 32 to 1, and the theme of this show is going to be what each team must do to have a successful season in my eyes. All right, 32, the Houston Texans. I think a successful season for them is improvement by Davis Mills and over 5 wins. If they go out there and win more than 5 games, I think the Texans should be proud. Number 31, the Chicago Bears. What's considered a successful season for them? Improvement by Justin Fields and having a winning record. I know that's asking for a lot for a team that everyone and their mother thinks is going to be garbage this year. But this is the Chicago Bears. They're a big market team. It's a failure if they don't have a winning season. But say if Fields improves and they don't have a winning year, they could say, like, okay, at least we have our quarterback. But I think that they want to see some wins as well. Number 30, the Atlanta Falcons. What's a successful season to them? Desmond Ridder shines as a rookie, and they have over 6 wins. Arthur Smith probably needs more than 6 wins if he is guaranteed a third year. So that's why I say that for them. And they obviously have a very dysfunctional franchise from a front office and ownership standpoint. 29, the Seattle Seahawks. For me, they have to have a winning year or really just make the postseason. There's still some talent on this roster, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I think if they don't have a winning year, Pete Carroll's going to either retire or he'll get fired. Number 28, the New York Jets. For me, a successful season for them is improvement from Zach Wilson from year to 1, year to year 2, and a winning record. I know it's asking a lot to have the Jets with the winning record, but it's like the Chicago Bears. You're a big market team. You're in New York. They're going to look at you as a disappointment if you don't have a winning year. Number 27, the New York Giants. If they have a winning season or make the postseason, it's a successful season for them. Same thing with the Jets. I don't think that the Giants fans or the media want, or I don't want to say the word want, but they not expect, but they are hoping for a winning year. The Giants are a team that if they don't have a winning year, they're gonna have a new quarterback probably, but you could argue it's best for them to tank, but they have a coach that I think in Brian DeBall that doesn't want to tank. Number 26, the Washington Commanders. For me, a successful season for them is to make the postseason. Carson Wentz, they look at as the savior. I don't think he's the savior, though. Number 25, the Jacksonville Jaguars. For me, a successful year for them is making the postseason. This team weirdly has high expectations this year, especially for a team that was just garbage last year. And they obviously want year 2 improvement from Trevor Lawrence, which is a given for me. 24, the Carolina Panthers. Make the postseason. You go out and get Baker Mayfield. They need to make the postseason or else Matt Rule is fired. Number 23, the Detroit Lions. Winning season and or playoffs. They're a team that I think would be satisfied with 9-8 and not in the postseason. Kind of like the Giants a little bit, and the Bears and the Jets and the Seahawks. But the Lions really, I don't think, are trying as much as, say, the Panthers or the Jaguars or the Commanders. But they do have more talent than those teams. Number 22, the New England Patriots. Making the playoffs a successful year for them. I know they made it last year, but they got destroyed by the Bills. But no one has the Patriots in the postseason this year. Absolutely no one. Number 21, the Tennessee Titans. Same thing, make the postseason. I understand they were the 1 seed a year ago. But expectations have lowered for this franchise. They lost A.J. Brown. Ryan Tannehill might not be the long-term guy. But if they make the playoffs, it's a good season for them. Number 20, the Cleveland Browns. Make the postseason. You go out and trade for Deshaun Watson. You still have a lot of other talent on the roster. You should make the postseason. And honestly, I think that Kevin Stefanski gets fired if they don't make the postseason. Although I felt like that last year, but he survived. 19, the Arizona Cardinals. Divisional round of the postseason. I know it's asking for a lot, and I understand that DeAndre Hopkins is suspended, but this is Kyler Murray based for me. 18, the Miami Dolphins. Tua improves and make the postseason. Honestly, the Dolphins need both to happen if they want to have a successful season. But I don't see how they make the postseason without improvement from Tua. So these two things are pretty much bunched together. 17, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pickett shows some promise and they make the postseason. Steelers are a team that is very filled with pride and have a lot of veterans that have been in big games before, and a coach that is one of the best in the business in Mike Tomlin. And it's not a successful year for Mike Tomlin if he don't make the playoffs. Number 16, the Dallas Cowboys. For me, it's the divisional round. They made the playoffs last year. And take that next step, obviously. And maybe they survive without Tyron Smith, and the Eagles are worse than expected. You never know. 15, the Baltimore Ravens. For me, they have to go to the divisional round. You could even argue the AFC Championship game for me. But I'm going to say the divisional round because there are some folks like me that are higher on the Bengals than the Ravens. So I take divisional round for the Ravens. 14, the Las Vegas Raiders, divisional round. You made the wild card round last year. Take that next step. You got Devontae Adams. 13, the Minnesota Vikings. Make the postseason. You missed the last 2 years. If they just have an appearance in the postseason, I think it's a good year for them. Number 12, the Denver Broncos. Make the postseason. Although you could argue divisional round for them too. But just making the postseason, I think, would make it a good season for the Broncos. Number 11, the New Orleans Saints. Make the postseason. They should probably be divisional round 2, but I put them at make the postseason because they didn't make it last year, and it's their first year without Sean Payton, so I have to really adjust some expectations here. Number 10, the Indianapolis Colts. To me, it's the divisional round. You could argue wild card round, just make the postseason. But they have a lot of talent on the roster, and it feels like a given that they're going to make the playoffs. So that's why I say division round. So it's similar to the Ravens in a way, except I don't have the Ravens in the postseason. 9, the Philadelphia Eagles, divisional round. That's the next step from where they were a year ago, which was the wild card round. And I may add Jalen Hurts needs to be better as well. Number 8, the San Francisco 49ers. This is going to come off very controversial, but I think they have to go to the Super Bowl for their season to be considered a success. They were in the NFC Championship game last year, and they made the Super Bowl 3 seasons ago. So, to me, they're a Super Bowl or bust based on their roster. Although you could argue NFC Championship game for them. But I'm going to say Super Bowl, but come back to me in January, maybe I'll readjust. Number 7, the Green Bay Packers, Super Bowl. I mean, if you have Aaron Rodgers, you're automatically Super Bowl or bust. Same for this next team, number 6, the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl. Anything short of that is a disappointment for both the Chiefs and the Packers. I think these two teams are mirror images of each other, honestly, because they lose their big wide receivers and a lot of question marks at that position now in terms of who will step up. Number 5 is the Cincinnati Bengals, your Super Bowl runners-up from a year ago. I think they need to go back to the Super Bowl to have a successful year. Number 4, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Super Bowl. If you have Tom Brady on your team, I don't care how old he is, you have to go to the Super Bowl for it to be a success. Number 3, the Buffalo Bills, the Super Bowl. Obviously, they're the Super Bowl favorites, so you could argue if they don't win the Super Bowl, it's an absolute failure for them. Or at least, if they honestly if they just make the Super Bowl, you could argue it's successful depending on who their opponent is. But to me, the Bills are getting too much favoritism in the media and with Vegas. They don't deserve to be the Super Bowl favorites. It should be the Rams because they won it last year. But Buffalo is getting treated like the Chiefs got treated 3 years ago, which was the season where they won the Super Bowl. But they earned that treatment. The Bills have not earned that treatment. Kansas City at that time earned that treatment because Patrick Mahomes was an MVP and they were an offsides penalty away from the Super Bowl. So that's why they earned that treatment. And then they got that treatment after they won the Super Bowl too. But yeah, the Bills are getting treated like they're the Chiefs from 2-3 years ago, and they're not even close. Number 2, the Los Angeles Rams. They have to go back to the Super Bowl for me to have a successful year for them. Obviously, they have the most talent in the league. I think you can make a case. At least in the NFC, they do. And number 1, the Los Angeles Chargers. If you didn't listen to my preseason predictions podcast that I released last night, I have this team winning the Super Bowl. But for me, I initially had Super Bowl for them, but I put AFC Championship game down because of the fact that they didn't make the postseason a year ago. They have a year 2 coach. And I just feel that the AFC is so loaded, so I had to adjust the Chargers a little bit. And a quarterback that's only in year 3. So I have them winning the Super Bowl, but for me, they have to be in the Final Four to be considered a successful team this season. So there you have it with the power rankings. And now it's time to move on to news and notes for today. I'm going to start with football, as Matthew Stafford had elbow surgery during the offseason and feels better today than he did at this time last year. George Kittle, week 1 status uncertain, as he didn't practice yesterday due to a hamstring injury. That is brutal for the 49ers. Zach Wilson out until week 4 at the earliest against the Steelers. So that is not good news for the Jets. Cardinals backup quarterback Colt McCoy out 4 weeks as they promote Trace McSorley to replace McCoy as the backup for the time being. There's a conflicting report on Chase Young, as Washington Post reports that Chase Young is on track with the ACL injury and didn't attend Von Miller's camp. So, I think WAPO is wrong here. They're just trying to stick up for Dan Snyder. Dawson Knox gets a 4-year, $53 million contract extension, over $31 million guaranteed. That is a good extension for the Bills, and Dawson Knox, well deserved. And they're paying for future projection rather than past performance, which is the right call. Some baseball stuff. Jerry Seinfeld rips the Mets as he blames Timmy Trumpet's performance for the slide. That's funny. Juan Soto okay after hit by pitch, as he has a right shoulder contusion, but should be good after an off day. So that's good news for the Padres after he took a pitch to the upper back. Max Scherzer to the injured list after he left the last start with fatigue. So that is not good news for the Mets. I think that might have just clinched the division for Atlanta, but we'll see about that. Some hockey news. The Canadians lock up Kirby Dach 4 years, about $13 million, $3.36 million AAV after the trade from the Blackhawks. So the Habs lock up Kirby Dach. And how about this? Ottawa gives Tim Stützle 8-year deal, $65 million, about 8.35 AAV. So that is incredible for the young guy on Ottawa. WNBA news. Aja Wilson wins the WNBA MVP for the second time in her career. Well deserved. Best player on the best team. And one thing I forgot to mention, that the NHL and TNT schedule is out. I assume the ESPN schedule is out too. So hopefully next week we'll do an NHL schedule podcast. to recap the nationally televised schedule. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. I'm not going to double down on the Rams. I have enough riding on them to the point where I could afford to go somewhere else for best bet. But the game that jumped out at me the most, I'm actually going to go to the WNBA and take the over. I get it. It's the deciding game. But that total is low, and we're seeing a lot of high-scoring WNBA playoff games. So I'm going to go lay a unit on over 158.5 between the sun and the sky for my best bet of the day. All right, so that's it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping the Bills-Rams game and looking ahead to every other game on Sunday. And then we also have college football to get into, Major League Baseball, U.S. Open, NASCAR, news and notes, best bet, Fab 5. We're going to have it all tomorrow. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.